Good evening, folks. Thanks very much for coming in. I hope you're all safe and well wherever you are. Welcome to Paranormal Histories interview with Elizabeth Whittenbury. I hope I've got that right, Elizabeth.
Yes.
The script supervisor, and Mathew Timoszyk, who was the first assistant director and gaffer on the movie The Crumbs, made by CRA Entertainment. Good evening, folks. Thanks very much for coming in. I hope you are both well.
Doing well.
Yes.
How are we? So first of all, congratulations on the film. Absolutely amazing. I've watched it 3 or 4 times. Totally. Very, very different from your normal film, as in, well, that's my opinion, that it tells the story from the family's point of view.
Yes.
If that makes sense, you know.
Very different. Very
rather than the victim, you know. So, just start ladies first, Elizabeth, as always. If you just tell us a wee bit about yourself and how you get into the whole filmmaking side of things.
Well, okay.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I have a theater background. I did stage management a lot. I have a degree in theater arts from Southern Oregon University up in Ashland, Oregon. And while going to school, I stage managed, and I was a very highly sought after stage manager.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first paying job. And continued with theater. Came back home to Yuba City to help out with my parents, and they both passed away. So I continued with theater, and I got involved with a local choral group, and that's how Ghost and I met. And he said, hey, one day, why don't you come help me hang lights at the local theater, community theater down the street? And I said, okay, sure, why not? And so did that, relearned things, learned new things. And he eventually made me his assistant. And then I got involved with films through him. And as a kid growing up, of course, I went to see movies and loved the behind the scenes, and always thought that would be really cool to someday get involved with film and on the back end, the behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And here I am.
So what was the attraction for you, you know, behind the scenes rather than in front of the camera?
To see how it all came together. It's like, well, with script supervisor, it's like stage management in a way, but not. It's different. Why I say that is because the script supervisor has to take the notes for the different takes of the scenes that we do, and to let the editor know which was the best out of the takes. And then the editor, once the editor gets the film or the drive now, they know which ones to use in the final production of it.
Right. I always thought when people say script supervisor, I thought, you know, when the writers bring, you know, when the writers finish writing the script, they maybe bring it to you. What do you think?
I of course I read it, and the directors that I've had so far, they've said, if the actors don't exactly say the exact words, it's okay, but if the director's there and if the if the script writer's there, they can say, okay, no, I want them to really say this line the way I've written it. And then, okay, we'll redo it, and they say it the exact way. And I make sure, excuse me, and I make sure that they are on it. Like I say, wait a minute, you didn't say that word. You have to say that word.
So from the initial the start of the filming, where you've got the script, how much does the script change and evolve through the whole process of filming to the end product? Does it change a lot, or does it stay kind of more or less the same?
It depends. Sometimes it stays with the script. It stays to the original, but sometimes there are rewrites, and we get the rewrites, and the actors get the rewrites, and they study them, they look them over, and they okay. But we haven't had too many rewrites with the ones that I've been involved with. But yes, there are some, and yes, there can be revisions throughout the process.
Thanks, Elizabeth. So Ghost, I need to ask you first off, is Ghost a nickname, or where does the name Ghost come from?
It's a nickname. A theater director gave me the nickname years ago. I'm going to keep the story kind of short, and I usually tell it. But basically, it's because I can get around a theater or a set without being seen, heard. So this director, this wonderful woman, she originally wanted to have my nickname to be Phantom.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I can't live up to Phantom. As you know, everybody knows Phantom of the Opera. Sorry, can't do it. So she came up with Ghost, and I stuck with it. And I started using it a couple of years ago full time. Elizabeth and I were on a different set, and we were actually on a ship. And there was one day. At most days there was only 2 Matthews or Matts on set, and then at one day we had 5 Mathew or Matts on set. So that's where I started using it full time, because it's just getting confusing.
Actually, are you better known now as Ghost or Mathew?
I'm really in the film world. I'm really known as Ghost.
I think it's actually, it's not a word I use of, but a kind of cool nickname, especially in the kind of line of work you're both in, to be known as, they're known as the name Ghost. So, Ghost, how did you first start out? Because you've had quite a career from 1986 onwards, I believe it is.
Well, I started kind of like Elizabeth did. Started way back in middle school or junior high. And I wanted to be an actor, but I can't memorize lines. So, especially in theater, that's very important. So I decided, I got really hooked and got very interested in the technical side, both set design and lighting design at a very early age, and went to college for set design and technical theater. Joined the U.S. military, and that's actually where I got my first taste of film, was when I was in the military. And been in theater, was in live entertainment and theater, for over 3 decades. And then I did some more small short films, and I kind of got the bug, and I was honestly getting tired, physically tired from doing a lot of theater. So I got into filmmaking. Like you said, in this film, I'm the first assistant director and gaffer, but with my personal company, I'm also a producer and director. So, but my first and foremost thing that I do that I'm known for, especially as Ghost, is being a gaffer. So, yeah, I like Elizabeth, but I just I did the switch earlier to film than Elizabeth did.
So the name gaffer in the UK means that's what people kind of call their employer. You know, that's my gaffer. In the film industry, you know, what exactly does it entail? You know, if you're a gaffer.
Well, for us, the gaffer, the name gaffer comes from a gaff stick. To adjust lights in a studio situation, you can use a gaff stick to adjust the light. So the gaffer is the person who's in charge of both lighting and electric and some camera equipment. Okay. So the gaffer is the head of that department, the grip and electric department. Because as an electrician, we provide power not to just lighting, but we provide it for audio if they need it, camera department if they need it, makeup, crafty, you know, all the different departments if they need power. Because generally, when you're on a film set, sometimes, especially like in the bigger studios or the bigger studio films, you're running out of generators. So you got to have that distribution. So that's what our for us here in the industry, gaffer comes from the original gaffer stick or gaffer pole from the studio.
Right. Elizabeth, you know, you deal a lot with the script. Do you get your hand in with the lighting and, you know, rigging and stuff like that as well? As
the gaffer, I'm working very closely with the cinematographer or the director of photography. Those terms are interchangeable. So I work directly with the head camera guy, basically the cinematographer, to make sure that the scene is lit the way that the cinematographer wants and the director's look and feel is being met for the script. So basically, I tell my crew, or I help personally. I help jump in and will help rig it if I have to, because I have rigging experience and whatnot. So yeah, my job is very hands-on, very hands-on.
But that's the way you like it, from what I'm gathering. That's, you know, you like being kind of hands-on and you know, and the thick of it, so to speak. Elizabeth, are you the same on set, etc.? Do you get to, you know, maybe help Ghost with some of the lighting and rigging and?
Yeah, I've helped with we on some sets you have a small crew, and if anyone needs help and you aren't doing anything at the moment, you pitch in. And so, having worked with Ghost before with lighting and setting up, I pitch in. I can grab a C-stand and move it. I can grab a sandbag, or beach as it's called, and move it and, you know, place it down on the C-stand for him, or where if he needs help, he knows that he can ask me, could you help with this? I'm like, oh yes, definitely.
Excuse me. Have any ever been asked, you know, in the films you've worked on, you know, to do a wee small part in the film? Have you ever been asked or tempted to? Well, the other side of the camera.
Yes.
That's funny all the time. and 99% of the time I accept.
Yeah.
So you
I have too. And it's fun to sort of like jump in front of the screen. You're like, wow, okay, I'm in front of the camera. Okay.
Yeah, no, we get asked more often, especially on these small independent films. We get asked more often than people realize. I have been in, Liz, maybe I don't know how many times I've been in a film, and I know you've been in at least six.
Yeah.
At least six. I know, because, you know, women are easy to find for a role.
Right.
It's guys, men are hard to find.
Yeah.
It's just like theater. Men don't act very often. But no, I get asked all the time, and honestly, as long as I'm not doing something stupid, I'll do it.
That was going to be my next question. Actually, you know, both of you have jumped in when required to do these small parts. Well, what's the most kind of silliest part you've been asked to play?
I wouldn't say the silliest thing I've ever been done, but the most dangerous thing I've done.
Right.
Okay, what is?
I have been kicked by a 7-year-old girl.
Oh,
many
yes,
times.
that's right.
I have been stomped on by a female actor. That's about the 2 most dangerous things I have done so far.
I've not been anything dangerous yet.
Actually, Liz and I were in a scene together.
Yes, we were.
We were actually in a scene together.
Yeah.
As husband and wife, as a couple.
Yeah. And it was ad lib too.
No, it was total. It was like you and you, come here.
You come here. And I'm like, well, what about? Do I need powder or anything? He's like, no, you're fine. Come on. I'm like, okay. And we were both one take wonders on that, weren't we?
It was 2. It was actually a 2-take one, and it wasn't our screw up. It was the other guy.
No, yeah.
It was the actual actor.
Yeah.
And where he's a happy couple in it.
I'm sorry.
Where he's a happy couple in it.
Oh yeah. We were basically getting out of our Mercedes.
Yes.
Which was our director. And so we're walking, and we get approached by a man who's handing out flyers for a missing girl, and that's what the little itty-bitty scene is.
Yeah.
Which is actually in a film that's hopefully going to be released here, within the next year or so. Actually, it's finished. They're trying to find a distributor. I'm not going to plug the film either. So
no.
I was just going to ask the name of the film. That's why I've got my pen here. I was going to.
Yeah. No.
We'll message it to you later.
Yeah.
We'll keep it under wraps.
Because it's a pretty good suspense film, and but they got some name actors in it. So
yeah.
So you can drop me a wee mail later on. PM. So on these
completely different company.
Yes.
So
Ghost.
Us Scottish people are good at keeping secrets. Sailors are good at keeping money. You know what I mean? That's true. So seeing situations like that, when you're doing your own kind of thing and you're asked to jump in to do a short scene, does it disrupt your train of thought of what you were doing?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Because I
think let me explain this. We have 2 types of roles we take. We have ones that we know about that we can plan for. Okay, on this date, around this time, this many scenes into the day, we're going to have you in the scene. It's pre-planned. I already know I'm going to be an extra in the film. Then you get the ones like when Liz and I were together as a couple, that was like, you and you, I need you now. Come on, let's go. Those are the ones you go, huh?
Okay. And
those are the ones that kind of like, because like in that particular case, we were actually filming another film at the same time. So it was like we had a break in our action on the film we were actually working on. So, and then because we had this particular actor was on the same set. So we knew the director knew that he had to fill this little scene or get it filmed. So that's why he grabbed us, because we hadn't been in the film yet. So he grabbed us, and it was real quick, not even 20 minutes. It was like boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom,
done.
boom. Okay, done.
So those are the ones that kind of like go, okay, other than that.
No, that's fine.
And sometimes I know I look forward to doing some of my roles because you get to play somebody else. You get to put a costume on, maybe a little bit of makeup, just to keep the shine down, whatever. And you get to play a bad guy, or you get to play, somebody that's completely different than you are. And I think that's the allure of acting. Personally, it's you get to be somebody else.
Yeah.
I got to play a bad guy. That's when I got slammed by this young female actor, not the girl, but I got to play a cop. I got to play a SWAT guy.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I've done that twice now.
Right. Yeah.
I got to play a SWAT guy twice now.
Does it kind of teach you away from your sort of usual world, as you say, go to a distraction, no, maybe not a distraction, but you get to be somebody else for, a day or, a week,
day.
Whatever time it is. What about you, Elizabeth? Are you the kind of same way with the wee bits of acting? Does it take you kind of?
I enjoy it. I did some before that's what originally I wanted to be an actress. Everyone's like, oh, I want to be an actor. I want to be an actress. So before I even went to Ashland, I went to the local community college here and did theater, did acting. I was torn between either music or theater. Well, theater won out. And I did some acting, I did some roles, and I loved it because you become the character, and as Ghost said, you get into costumes, and you are totally different than the person that you really are, normally are, and it's fun.
Do you ever take the character home with you?
Oh no.
No.
Be a SWAT guy or something like that, or whatever in the house, I was a SWAT guy today, so that's, you never.
No, I think my wife would smack me down if I tried that. I really believe, yeah, my wonderful wife would just go, leave it out the door.
Right. No, I don't bring it with me. No,
Leave it at home. It just says Ghost there. One time you're working in 2 different films, more or less at the same time. How does that work? How do you manage to divide your time between the 2 different projects?
Between film and theater?
No, you said earlier on when you were doing a film, you were actually working on another film as well.
Oh, you got to be able to multitask. That's it. Film in general, especially like the position I'm in, even just as a gaffer. If I added, like I did with the Crumbs, I added first assistant director to that. And the only reason why I could be the gaffer and the first assistant director for the Crumbs is because I had a good crew. I actually had a phenomenal crew. So you have to be in the industry, the entertainment industry. You have to be able to multitask. You need to be able to think about one thing on one side of your brain and then something else on the other side of the brain, or you're not going to be successful. Now, when I'm working on other people's projects, I do give them 100%. Now, because I let my personal staff know, if they're not working with me, that this is where I'm at. I will get your messages when I get them. So, because I don't like, a lot of people use their cell phones on set. I leave mine in my vehicle or my briefcase or my bag, or I don't carry my phone with me.
No.
That's why I have no behind the scenes shots for everything I work on, is because I leave my phone put away.
Yeah.
Because I have to be focused on my job, just like Elizabeth does.
Yeah. I don't have my phone at all. I mean, I have it on set, but I don't have it on my person. But if someone says, "What time is it?" I'm like, I don't know. Who has a watch? Because usually I do have a watch on, or I try to remember to put a watch on, but I don't have my phone with me at all, because if your phone goes off, look out.
Oh.
Look out.
There's a loose rule in the film and TV industry that if you're filming and your phone interrupts the take, you're buying the first round of beer.
Yep.
Oh, right, an unwritten rule.
Yeah. Yep.
No, leave the phone in the house or the car or something. Definitely leave it. Do not take it. So, what's your average kind of day like? I don't know who wants to go first.
Liz.
It can be very long. because it depends on if everyone is on time for their call time, that everyone gets a call sheet the night before, and you get your times that you should be on set. And if everyone adheres to that and everyone is on time, it can go smoothly sometimes. But if you're late, or you are holding, you can hold everyone else up, or if there are other scenes that you can work around, if the set actor has not arrived yet, you can do that. If not, then you're waiting on the person, and that's not good. It's unprofessional, really. And it can, and depending on the takes for the scene, sometimes the scenes you get in 2 or 3 takes, 4, and you do safety takes, so that you have one just in case, if for safety reasons. But the day can go long. I'm not gonna lie. But you do have breaks. You do have 10-minute breaks. You have food, dinner breaks. But it can go into the wee hours of the night, and that's to be expected. If you don't expect it and you don't like it, then okay, this is not the profession for you.
You've got to be prepared to, put the hours in, and if it goes on to 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, that's
right.
That's what you do. You go with it. I think that's.
Are you in agreement with that, Ghost?
For the most part, yes. I mean, yes, I'm in agreement. But the thing is, like, what it's for me as the gaffer, or even if I'm working as the next position down, which is the grip. A lot of times, most times, the grip department or the G&E department is brought in early, an hour to 2 hours earlier than the cast, because we have to get the set ready and lit and powered up before any actors even walk on. So our typical days, and I wanted to make a distinction here.
Yeah,
we have 2 different worlds here. You've got the union world, which is Hollywood, and then you have across most of America and in Europe and Scotland, and you have the independent filmmakers. Okay. Now, a union movie maker, or it's still called a stagehand. They work a 10-hour day because it's mandated by the union. Okay. Now, an independent filmmaker, stagehand, we can work 12 to 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
Because we're not protected by union. So, but they're 2 different worlds. Basically, one's corporate, one's small business. That's probably the best way to describe it. And honestly, it depends on, are we doing interior shots? We're doing exterior shots. A lot of your exterior stuff can take a lot longer. Like Liz alluded to, it depends on how many takes, how complicated is the scene or the scenes we're going to film that day. Is it a fight scene? Believe it or not, is it a lovemaking scene? The more complicated the scene is, the longer it's going to take to film. Because if you're doing a simple conversation in an office, you can, as long as the actors can get through their lines, you can usually get through those in a short period of time. But when you get into a fight scene, or a monster scene, or a zombie scene, or what I'm saying, depending on, it's like some of the scenes in the Crumbs took a while to do because they're complicated.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that's done in the lab. Those scenes, they look simple. They're not. Because you have malfunctions in the special effect. It just goes on. It just goes on and on. If you just take the checklist and just go, what can go wrong?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times why there's so many takes in a scene, like a fight scene, or in this case with the Crumbs, we had some complications with some of the special effects. It's not that we had great special effects people, excellent special effects people.
Oh yeah.
But stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because as Elizabeth knows, one of my favorite sayings, and I'm going to get this big sign of this: you never know. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to be needed. You never know.
Nope.
So back to the hours, we can have a day scheduled, say, for 12 hours. It could push into 14, 16 real easy if things go not badly, just wrong.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I hate, because I would never like to say something bad happened on a set. Usually that means somebody got hurt.
Yeah.
Bad is bad. Wrong is just it happens.
It happens.
It's why they call it movie magic, because it is magic. It is especially in a film like The Crumbs. There's a lot of magic in there. And people ask me what do I think of the film. I have to look at it in two different ways, and so does Liz.
Yeah.
I can look at it as an audience member, a straight audience member, or I can look at it as this is a film I worked on.
Yeah, and it's hard.
How do you judge your own film?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoy it because it was the first time my wife and we sat down and watched it together. I had to keep biting my tongue because I wanted to say, well, this is what happened here. This is what we did. This is the funny thing that happened here. Well, this is where I slept for 3 weeks. And this is, but I had to keep my mouth shut because I wanted her to enjoy the film.
Yeah.
You should just let her watch it herself, lock you in another room and say, look, I'll see you in 8 minutes or something, and, there's some beer or whatever. I'll see you in an hour and a half. The Crumbs was an excellent film. I mean, I've been a film buff since I was a teenager, with all the Friday the 13th and all the, the old sort of classic Jason and Freddy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I think they got a bit stale after maybe number 7 or 8, because it was the same thing over and over again. But that's what attracted me about the Crumbs. I've watched the 3, I think maybe 4 times. It's because of the way it's turned inside out. Right, my way of thinking, I thought it was really quite clever because you always just see, you see the killers and the victims. You see the victim, but you never see the killers taking away their murdering side. They are, for want of a better word, a normal family.
Yeah.
With normal family issues. I'm not going to say too much,
right. Yeah.
But you're right, Scott. That's the beauty of this film is you really get to see, because you do see some things, at least here in our country, that's a little controversial. With the race.
Yes.
With certain aspects of that family, but those are normal things, at least here in the United States. Those are normal things that people make us kind of go, whoa, whoa. So, but one thing I really want to say is what's the beauty about film, about movies. It's not an American thing. It's not a Scottish thing. It's not a British thing or a German thing or a Russian thing. It is an international language. No matter where you're at in this big world of ours, people are making movies.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what language they're in or what style, it is an international language of art.
Yeah.
And it's because I have both some folks that I was going to be on this interview today, and they're like, Scotland, really? It's like, yeah, their horror is big in the UK and Europe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
You know, because when you don't, a lot of people love movies and film, but they don't work in it. So I mean, they understand that it is a language, that it's this international language. But some people, they're so narrow-minded that they live with the blinders on, that they don't realize that some of the best films are South Korean and Japanese and Indian films. And then I'm not talking about Bollywood films. I'm talking about true Indian film and Russian film. I mean, we got some Russian films and Polish films that are just, Patinkin. I mean, that's just, I mean, because I have gone to, did some study in film, just took some classes in film, which really opened my eyes, to the universe, the actual international of filmmaking. And it's fun to see a film like The Crumbs and the film previous to this one, Evil Down the Street, do very well in Europe. That is just like freaking awesome.
Yes.
That a film that Liz and I both have worked on.
So cool.
We didn't work on Evil Down the Street, but it's the same company. So, but it's neat to have like The Crumbs. One, as of the last I checked, we are number one in Prime.
Yeah.
On Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So
it's wild. It's crazy. Like.
Go ahead, Liz.
I mean, I watched Evil Down the Street as well a few times as well, and again, I'm not going to say too much, in case everybody's going to watch it. Do watch Evil Down the Street and The Crumbs. Both.
Well, it's funny. The lead actress in Evil Down the Street is in The Crumbs.
Yes.
You just don't know it.
No.
And the Elena who plays the hooker.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a good friend of both of ours. She's down in Fresno, and I'm sure if we could work with her more, we would.
Yeah.
She was wanting me to work with her. Both of us worked with her about a year ago, and we just couldn't because of our schedules. But no, it's the one thing about beauty about film, and I know I'll let Liz expand on this, is we're a big family. Yeah. It's because I know Liz and I, we work on a lot of sets with the same crew. And they're not my crew. These are just crew. These are good crew folks and actors both, that we all gravitate to these wonderful projects.
Right.
And go ahead, Liz. I'll let you take it.
Oh no, and everyone has become my family, as I call it, my film family. And it's when you see each other, you're just like, oh hey, hi, how are you? Oh my God, haven't seen you for a day, and especially now during this whole COVID lockdown, it's different. You don't see people in person, and I miss that, and I miss the getting together and seeing each other, and giving hugs back, just getting together and just talking, and after the shoot, just shooting the breeze and having a whiskey or having a beer and just letting your hair down and just having fun and getting to know people more than you knew in the beginning, and you become a family, a true family.
As Steve from the chat was saying, I'll put the comment up. The Russian films are beating Hollywood for storylines.
Hollywood, even before COVID, has gone through a strange transition.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a good transition. I don't want to anger anybody, but Hollywood hasn't produced an original script in probably 5 years,
Mhm.
5 to 6 years.
Yeah. No.
Everything's Marvel. Everything is, X-Men, Avengers, everything seems to be, even Disney's repurposing old classic cartoon style films to live, like Mulan.
Yeah.
They did it with Beauty and the Beast. They did it with,
Beast.
they did it with all the different Lion King.
Yeah.
So is Russia script right now, or are they beating Hollywood? Probably.
Most
I have
likely.
no doubt, because I haven't read, and honestly, I don't go see a lot of film. I am horrible to go to a movie with. I'm horrible because I sit there and pick on them. I sit there. I can't.
Yeah.
I pick them apart.
I see movies differently now, because now, having been, behind the scenes, I know
It's different.
Yeah, it's totally different. Like a split second on screen. Oh, you don't know how long or how many takes that took to do.
Yeah. Well, and here in the United States, we don't get a lot of Russian film. So I honestly, I've been trying to think of, since the question came up, when was I saw the last time, even before COVID, a Russian film? And honestly, I can't think of one. So I'm still going to stick back my answer that are Russian scripts beating American scripts? Probably.
Mhm.
Because there hasn't been original thought out of Hollywood in 5 to 6 years. That's where the Crumbs comes in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You've got, Hollywood, and you've got your indie films, independent films. I think the independent film industry is going to overtake Hollywood. Because I think Hollywood. There's a lot of Hollywood films come out that I've liked. I'm not disrespecting anybody's, acting, what have you. But I think, as you say, they've got kind of lazy. It's the same thing over and over again. Whereas independent, it's usually like Evil Down the Street and the Crumbs, two totally different films. Made by the same people. And I know that you Demon Fighter as well.
Yeah.
Which again, and each film is different. There's nothing. There's nothing in the Crumbs that is in Evil Down the Street.
No,
nothing.
Other than a few actors.
Yeah,
there's a few actors that cross over. Other than that, there are completely different films. Oh, the other thing I want to say about the Crumbs, it's funny because I keep on seeing your sign, or the sign above me, bringing past to present. One of the things that's really unique about the Crumbs is the history aspect.
Yes.
All the different costumes and all the different. Probably going to get something away here. Actually, no, it's in. You know where I'm going with this. I don't even know. I'm not going to go any farther because I'm not going to get in trouble. But there's a major history element.
Yeah,
to
I
the
know
Crumbs.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
The time it's set in and the dress sense.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. But because it's interesting with the Crumbs family starts dressed one way and they end up being dressed several times. So that was as a person who's worked in theater and has worked in film for many decades. That is one of the biggest pain in the butts, because I'm currently working on a short film. We're doing it for fun. It's I don't know if we're going to take it anywhere, but it's just a bunch of us filmmakers getting together to make a film. But it's set in a time period.
Yeah.
That is one of the hardest things to do, is a period piece, because you have to do a lot of research. We've already done a couple table reads, and it's like something will be in the script. It's like, did they actually say that in the 52?
Right.
Or was this used in 52? So.
Many.
Liz, I'll let you start.
What was it? It was too much CGI. Yeah, there is, but because we kind of be using that too in ours, but
All right, I'll take up from there.
take it from there.
Okay, now there's a place, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place for CGI. The problem with CGI and the studios, because yes, we use CGI in the independent world too, but we don't use it like they do. They create entire sets out of CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And at least in the films I've worked on and the folks that I know that have worked on a lot of independent film, we try to make it work with what we have. Then if we need to add a special effect, then we'll add something computer generated.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Steve, I agree with Steve 100%.
Yeah.
When a film is 100% CGI, that's not filmmaking.
No.
That's cartoon.
It is.
It's a
Yeah.
cartoon. Because no CG. I'm sorry. They made epic films from the beginning of filmmaking up until 70s, 80s with full-blown studio sets, or they found a location and filmed it on location.
Yes.
You look at all the Raiders films, all the Raiders, the Raiders film.
Yeah.
Most of those were shot on location.
On location.
Why? Because it was real and it was cheaper.
Yeah.
This is 100% CGI films or 90% CGI films is what's driving ticket costs up.
Yeah. Expensive.
Yeah. Well, and the actor.
True.
Some of these actors are getting paid way too much money.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Some of the salaries you read about, fees, whatever they call them, for one movie or for 30 minutes in a movie, and you think, no, that's extreme.
Yeah.
But they're getting paid more, 10 million plus for 30, 35 minutes in a film.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's just totally insane. But just going back to what you were saying, Ghost, about your research and the history. Excuse me. I know exactly what you mean. You need to, if you're doing a period piece, then you need to make sure that everything in that piece, if you're doing a piece on maybe the 1920s, you need to make sure that there's no a Rolex watch or something in it, or a mobile phone.
Yep.
That time period.
I know personally, when I watch a period piece, especially a period that I know really well, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you better get it right. I have watched multi-million-dollar projects on like Netflix, and I start picking them apart, and I get down to the phone. Are they using the right phone?
Yeah.
Sure enough, I was watching Mad Men, and they're already up in the 60s time period, and he was using a push button phone. I'm going, that don't seem right. I looked it up. So I looked it up. Sure enough, they came out in like 64.
Really?
Yep.
Oh wow.
But he was also in New York. So he was in New York City. So a lot of that stuff starts in like either LA, Bay Area, New York.
And then it moves. Yeah.
Moves out.
So, right.
Yeah. So you really do. You really got to be careful of everything.
Yeah. Oh, and
that's where most people get caught. That's where most projects get caught was with continuity.
Oh yeah, continuity, big time.
Did that screwdriver come from the 1920s or the 1950s? Mm-hmm. Did that phone? Could you imagine trying to do a cell phone from the 1980s or the 1990s? It changed.
They went from that size to that size.
Now they're getting bigger. Now they're getting bigger again.
I know it's madness.
And they seem to be on the piece again. It's got that. Yeah. I remember the first cell phones that came out, and you thought back in the time, you were rich if you were sitting on a bus and your phone went,
Right.
and you were like
Yeah.
that,
Yes.
Or you had to carry it like a purse because of the bag
Right.
phones. The
Yeah,
Motorola
yeah.
bag phone.
Yes.
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 One thing I notice a lot about Hollywood movies is the kind of mistakes that they make.
Oh yeah.
In the film. Some of them are, I can't remember what the film was, but I remember watching one film and the guy drove away in, say, a red car and he drove back. You saw him later on arriving at wherever he was going and it was like a blue car he was in.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And-
happens.
You're actually quite bad to watch a movie with because I watch a movie and all that kind of skip. I kind of notice it, but I kind of think, right, okay. But he'll sit and pick it apart. Everything you watch, it's like, that's not right. Did you see the mistake? I'm like, you shut up. Try to watch it.
So, okay. Scott, you need to come out here and watch a movie with me. We'll send Robin, my wife, out to Sarah in Scotland.
That's fine.
That's a deal, buddy. It's like today we were watching, I'm not going to name the programme, but it's one of Sarah's, programmes, and the guy accidentally shot himself with an elephant tranquilizer or something like that. And so he was made to go unconscious. So these two people came down and they grabbed him by the arm. As soon as they moved him, the guy bent his legs and stood up.
Look, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad filming.
I said to Sarah, did you see that? His legs bent. He stood up. And I think the funniest one I've ever seen is Braveheart. Remember Braveheart?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, you're a Scot. No wonder.
Right.
There's a scene in it, one of the battles, and if you look in the background, you can see a white Ford Transit van driving along.
Oh, yeah, that's bad. Somebody should have caught that.
And, a white van man, as we call them over here. But you can see it right in the distance, just going along the road. And, Mel Gibson standing giving his William Wallace speech, and this wee guy's driving by in a van. It's the wee things I can pick out, just the wee minute sort of details. Do you get a lot of them on set, bloopers and stuff, and you must have a good time with the actors mess up their lines or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But when they repeat that mistake 10 times, then it gets right. Yeah, David will know this story from our David.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we were doing a project together. This is where Elizabeth and I both met David.
Yeah,
and we were doing this conference room scene.
Oh God,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and David's sitting at the end of the table, and this other actors next to him delivering these lines, and I think David just wanted to reach over and choke him because he couldn't get his lines right. He couldn't even get them right enough to make it make sense.
No,
because a lot, like Elizabeth said it earlier, that some directors will allow their actors to not necessarily flub their line, but basically make sure you give it the line the same connotation, but you can use different words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an improv, but it's not an improv. But it's got to mean exactly the same thing, but with just different words.
Yeah.
He wasn't even doing that.
No.
You get stuck.
Yeah. And he just like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like inwardly rolling my eyes and biting my tongue.
And this was right before lunch, right before our meal break.
So who took him outside and beat him up first?
Well, I think we end up taking a break.
I think we did. I think David said. I think David
might have taken him out back and kicked his ass. I don't know.
I think he did. He took him out. He's like, let's take 5. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, thank you, David.
I was a couple different pieces on that one too, but
Yeah.
Yeah. No, when somebody makes a real bad gaffe and just blows a line, most of the time, especially if it's funny, you'll laugh your ass off. But the entire set, the entire crew and the cast will just laugh their ass off. But when you repeat that over and over and over, it gets really annoying real fast.
Yes. Yes.
It can be frustrating. I mean, it's something similar, but it's not. I'm a chef, and I used to work in it's called a steakhouse where we lived at the time, but it's shut down now. But there was one time I was showing a younger chef how to make a cheesecake, and the times that he messed it up was unbelievable. And I was going to make him into a cheesecake. Do you know what I mean? It was just. You take him through baby steps, I can't read that. What does that say? Casual chef.
That's
You're a chef as well. But
I'm a chef too.
You take him through the basic baby steps of making a cheesecake. Simplest thing, and he still, messes it up, and you just want to stick him in a freezer or something, not alive. Otherwise just get rid of him. So I do know what you mean. It gets, and as you say, Elizabeth, you're inwardly rolling your eyes and you're biting your teeth and you're like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've worked with line guys like that. I've worked with film, theater. Oh yeah, sometimes you just want to go. This is not the profession for you.
Yes.
Have you ever worked with any divas? I know you get them.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And it's usually actors.
Usually male or female.
Oh,
that's not male. I just
Yeah.
forget us.
hey, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, I have worked with people from LA because, again, there's major difference between LA and Northern California. Most of us up here in Northern California on the crew side, we're all laid back. We're all, we're with the modern times. We're with the modern equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with guys from LA. We're talking DPs and gaffers that it's either you do it the Hollywood way or you don't do it. It's like, hey,
yeah.
So no, you have your divas on both sides of the camera. You have them behind the camera, and you have them definitely in front of the camera.
Oh yeah.
But I think for the most part, most of everything Liz and I've done together, we pretty much have had pretty good luck with talent.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
The Crumbs was a big family because what a lot of people don't realize, the core of us, the main actors, the family, and all the main crew, we lived in that complex for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. So you basically all just put together.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, we would have we were having whiskey every night.
Yeah.
If we were shooting at oh god early in the morning, or we weren't shooting real late at night, we would stay up and just talk just to come down from the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'd get a bottle of Irish, and because nobody's could afford scotch. So
no.
Good stuff.
It's really expensive here. Because there was usually like between 3-4 of us to 6-7 of us. Then we just get around a table, just to have some couple drams of whiskey and just to blow off the whatever of the day, and then we'd all just go to bed. Because I slept on a couch for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we found that we actually had another cabin, so I actually got to sleep in a cabin. Right. But it's like the dining room scenes. That was my office.
Yeah, it was his office.
All right.
Every morning.
Every morning I'd get up. People would bring me my, we had some great people on set that, because I would get up early and, start my day as the first AD. and get my day started, get schedules, so yeah, I had a laptop, printer. I mean, people would have breakfast around me.
Oh yeah.
So that was the home base right there.
Right.
That was the dining room table was home base.
Oh,
but no, we had people sleeping on couches and.
Oh God, yeah.
And we had, it was really those 3 weeks and beyond has been a real family. It really has. Craig was, because David would go back down into the city and stay at his place. Well, Craig, being from LA, he stayed with us.
Right.
So it was usually me, Craig, Elizabeth, Anton, and a couple other people would stay up and have a couple drams of whiskey.
Yeah.
Because this is what we did. We had nothing else to do. We didn't have TV.
Right. No.
It was like, because we were out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's kind of film, basically. There's nothing, you know.
Because it was almost like art was imitating life when it really came to that beautiful bed and breakfast compound.
Yeah.
Because it was really out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
We were what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes away from a grocery store?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it was a great experience because if we didn't have like a lot of filming at night or in the evening, it was nice to be able to go out. It was still spring, so it was it had a little chill in the air, but we had a great time.
Yeah.
We'd sit outside and people who smoked and but we had a great time.
We did.
It was really a family, and I'm still very close with a lot of these people.
Oh yeah.
So no, it was a great time.
It was.
So that's why it's funny. That's why it's funny when I watch the film. It's like, oh, that's where I had my office. That's where we ate. That's where I could all the steaks they eat at the dining table.
Yeah.
I cooked.
Right.
You done the cooking for the show.
Yeah, he did.
Or we would use leftovers. It was like potatoes or something. That was leftovers from dinner.
Yeah.
We had craft services brought in.
Right.
So it was really funny because when you know the film, when you were there, you know what was being eaten. All those steaks were prepared by me.
Yeah. Or the bedroom
people crew members would come swarm me.
Oh yeah.
After I cooked those.
Oh yeah. And when you see some of the bedroom scenes, oh, that's my cabin, or that's where I slept, and at Chelsea and we roomed together in one of the cabins at the back, and I'm like, there's our cabin.
Yeah, so it's almost like for us, for like especially Elizabeth and I and like Craig and Anton and Chelsea and whatnot, Jeff and those guys. It's like kind of like for us, it's like seeing our our vacation home.
Yeah,
we call it that. So no, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it's really, like I said, I've said it several times now, but it's a lot of fun to watch the film, and because that just brings back memories of the film itself, but it brings back memories of the people we were with.
Definitely. I agree.
When you see these Hollywood blockbusters, they're on location, and the actors or actresses go way back. They'll do their 8 or 10 hours on set, whatever it is, and then they'll go way back to their hotel. And that's them. Don't disturb till the next day or the next time they're on set. But the way you guys worked, I think it'd be a lot of fun as well, and it would create a closer working environment, and you would work together, which definitely shows on the film.
Oh yeah, because we, as a cast and crew, the main cast and crew, we spent so much time together. And trust me, we got on each other's nerves. We had our own little squabbles. It wasn't always roses.
No.
Oh yeah, there was sometimes the thorns came out. I mean, don't.
I used my stage manager voice several. Sometimes came out.
What's tough for me is because as the first AD, it's my job to get into people's butts and say, no, you need to go do this. You need to be on set. We're behind.
Yeah.
But you're all very, obviously with Craig and David on the other way, and I've been talking to Quabe. What's a quabe?
I don't know.
Has it been a long day, Scott?
It's been a long day, sorry. I've been talking to Craig. Yeah, got it that time. Quite a wee bit. And what we're going to do, we're going to bring the cast on as well in two separate wives, you know, like Anton, Maria, Chelsea, and Jeff. We're going to split them up, you know. And the other thing I was wanting to do is we can have 10 people on the panel at one time. So I was wanting to bring you all back.
Oh, I'd love to.
I would love to.
You know.
Yes,
I'd love to.
So I talked to Craig quite a wee bit. I don't know what kind of quabe. There is a quabe, is it?
No.
So that's, you know, that'll be early part of next year, but I'd love to get the entire Crumbs family. Obviously,
that'd be a hoot.
And I'd like to do that with as well, but I'm going to move on to I know the two of you are into the paranormal. You like the paranormal as well?
Yeah.
I used to.
You used to?
No, I was. How can I explain this? I was on a paranormal team for a couple of years, as chief photographer and videographer. And I'm also a sensitive. So, yeah, no, I've been to some really. We did a lot of more home investigations and more helping families out get rid of the bad blood, so to say. Basically, get rid of spirits out of homes, or at least at least attempt to. As you know, there's no guarantee getting spirits out of a home, but we did a lot of those, and I worked with a couple other women that were a little more experienced than I had in the business as paranormal investigators. But no, it was fun, but it was very different at the same time. Obviously Scotland's got a lot more history than we do.
Yes.
But I grew up being from the Midwest, and I went to a college. I know this is going to be young compared to what you folks are used to in Scotland. But, my college was founded in 1840s, and which had a real rich history of spiritual. We actually had on campus, the college I went to only had like 800 students. And we actually had a paranormal investigator on campus. He was a professor. So that's where I really started to get into the paranormal. It was really neat because we had so much history where I grew up and where I went to college. And then living here, what Elizabeth and I have here, what's very unique for us here in California, in Northern California, is you've all heard of the gold rush, I'm sure. The 1849 gold rush. We are actually right on the foothills of the gold rush.
Yeah.
Right on the foothill.
So is it very active?
Very active. Extremely active. We've got a couple towns. One's Grass Valley, the other one is Nevada City, and then you've heard of the Donner Party?
Yeah, the Donner Gang. Donner
Party.
We're less than 2 hours from Truckee, California, which is the Donner Party.
Yeah.
Right. So you've actually lived in quite a good spot for the paranormal then, basically.
Oh, yeah. Because there are members of the Donner Party buried just across the river from Elizabeth and I in Marysville, which was a gold rush town.
Right.
There are two of the Donners. One's a Donner, and one is, I can't remember the other last name. One was Catholic, one was Protestant, and they're buried in separate cemeteries. Because one's Catholic, one's Protestant.
That's weird. That's I think that'd be absolutely awesome.
You guys would love it here.
dare say we would. I dare say we would.
Right, go and pack the bags. We're leaving.
Right, where's the next flight? We can't go anywhere. We can't go leaving us, otherwise.
Hey, I got a spare room. Come on.
What
Nothing else to do.
No, nothing. But there's nothing. There's nothing to it. That's unfortunate. Scotland's beautiful. I'm originally from Glasgow, but I moved to a town called Kilmarnock about 5-6 years ago. It's on the west coast of Scotland in Ayrshire. We're about 10 minutes drive from the coast, but paranormal-wise, in our town, there's nothing. There's about 3 locations maybe, and that's it. There's nothing here, We love Edinburgh. We've been to Edinburgh many times, and we've got videos on our YouTube channel, Edinburgh Greyfriars. So I was talking to you both about,
Yeah, we did go to I did the ghost tour, and we went down and the very close and all that, and he's like, "Don't get lost." I'm like, "Oh my god, okay."
But yeah, it was interesting because not lying, we all met up in the big hall. I forget what the hall was called, but it was this big, huge room. And I was standing there, and all of a sudden I just felt a chill go up my leg, up and down. And I thought, okay, hello, who's there? But as a little girl, I saw 2 things. One was in my bedroom. I saw in the corner of my bedroom a shadow person that looked like an outline of a man in a bowler hat. And I looked, I saw it, and then I looked again, and it was gone. And then I saw I thought it was my father, and it wasn't. I went out into what we had a TV, and we called it the TV room. And there was a long couch in the room, and there was someone lying on the couch, and I thought it was my father. They had their hands behind their head, and the TV was on, but it was snowy. The TV set, it was snowy. There's no channel. It was just snowy, and the person was watching it, and I said, "Daddy, Daddy." It turned its head, looked at me, then turned back to the TV set, and it disappeared, and the TV went off. And I went back to bed, and my brother said something, to the effect, "I saw something, but I don't know what it was." I said, "I saw it too." And he said, "Oh, sure you did." I said, "Yes, I did." I know I did. I'm also very sensitive. I know I can feel certain things. I can tell what people are feeling just by either feeling it or looking into their eyes. I know things. How I don't know. I just know. And probably in the last year, I was in the bathroom brushing my hair, and all of a sudden I just felt this hit on my shoulder. And I was like, "What was that?" And I mean, there's nobody here but me. So I don't know. I think my grandmother on my father's, my paternal grandmother, I think she had the gift and I got it. She saw things, she knew things, and it's weird. I don't know how I know some things, I just do.
I'm the exact same as you, Ghost, and Elizabeth. I've been called a sensitive as well. Some people call me a medium, but I'll never label myself as a medium.
No.
As I'll pick up on, could be somebody standing beside me. It's totally random. It's not 7 days a week. It's there's no pattern to it. It just, I could be in a supermarket, I could be in the house, and you just either pick up on, a name, or, I mean, to give you a quick example, I was on a class last night, and we were going round the room, and there was one, it was the first time I'd done the class, and we were asked to see what we could pick up, and I get paired up with this woman, but I never picked up anything from this particular woman. It was another woman who was in the room kind of thing. I said to her, I said, you've got a man wearing a suit and he's holding lilies and he's standing behind you. And the woman says, my dad wore suits constantly and my sister loves lilies. It happens unexpectedly. I can look at photographs and sometimes pick up, things out of photographs, spirits, or what's happened in the past on a particular bit of land. So I do know you can't explain it. It just happens.
Yeah. And things happened while on the set of the Crumbs to me. Yeah. So, it was an old, where we filmed at. It was 100 plus years old. At the thing.
Easily 150. Easily.
Yeah.
That ranch. Let me just inject this real quick.
Go ahead.
This ranch. Okay, I'll put it this way. What you never see in the film, if you see it, is very, very brief. There's a barn across the street from the main house. That barn is over 150 years old. Over 150 years old. We're talking, here, at least in the States, the typical red barns, the redwood barns. That's what it is. It's an old redwood barn, and it's like, you can still see when you're in it, because that's where we had the lab. The lab was in there. We had built it, or actually Alan, our set guy, built it for us. But you could still see where they drilled and doweled. Yeah. The timbers.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. So there was I had a little bit of some activity hits up there.
Yeah. When I was in the barn,
it wasn't the barn had plenty of
it did. It did, because when I was there sitting waiting for the next scene or next take of the scene, there were two double doors at the back of the barn, and how you lock it was a big plank of wood, but it was unlocked, but the doors were closed. So I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, one of the doors opens up, and then it closes, and I was like, okay. And another incident, there were a pile of boxes that were stacked, but they were really stacked together. They weren't, loose or anything. And they were on a bench, like it was a bench kind of. And so I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden the boxes go flying off, and I'm like, oh, okay, hello, whoever it is. But yeah, and I felt something in a certain part of the house across the street, the main house. I felt some, and in the cabin where Chelsea and I stayed, she experienced things that she thought that she saw a woman standing beside the bed that I was in, and she thought it was me, but she looked again, but I was not awake. This woman was standing by the bed. And another time she saw her in the kitchen area of the cabin. So there's activity up there. Definitely.
Oh yeah, because again, that is Gold Rush area.
Yeah.
Between Gold Rush and silver and cattle. You want paranormal activity? Come visit, my friend. Come visit.
Yes. Come.
Okay, put it this way. There's a museum in Nevada City. Nevada City is one of the oldest Gold Rush towns in this area. There's a museum there. You go to the second floor, and they have a glass cabinet that's full of Donner pieces.
Yeah.
Baby dolls, silverware, things of life that they brought with them. You want to talk about, bam! If you don't feel the Donner Party by looking at that, what's wrong with you?
No, it's not.
Right.
Oh, it's...
Well, it definitely sounds like it should be a place for us to put down on our list.
But then you need when you come here and you go to Bodie, like my two friends that I was on team with, they've been to Bodie a couple times. Then you got to go to the USS. What's the ship in the Bay Area? Carrier.
Oh, Hornet.
The USS Hornet.
Yeah,
a friend of mine is a docent there. Faye, my friend Faye is a docent on the Hornet. She's a paranormal investigator. She's an audio specialist. She lives there. Could you imagine living on something like the Hornet?
Wow.
She spends weeks there at a time. But no, because people died on that ship. So it's big paranormal. So there's several. If you could spend weeks here going paranormal hunting.
The Hornet. Is that, sorry, Elizabeth. The Hornet, is that the one, the ship where the guy get killed, jammed in a door?
I believe so. Yes, it is. That is the Hornet.
I've seen that. Hornet. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember
they do ghost tours there. They used to before COVID, of course. This is all before COVID. They used to do at least one ghost tour a month.
Yeah.
So you go there at night. I've been on the ship. I've been there. But I haven't done a ghost tour. But they do let paranormal teams there. I can't remember if there's a fee or not, but it's got to be within a certain schedule.
Yeah.
But you can, because basically you can stay the night on the Hornet.
Yeah.
So...
Right. And then of course,
just let me know. I'll give my buddy, my good friend Faye a call. They say, hey, I got some folks coming over from Scotland.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. We've got a few locations down England to do next year as well. Next year's going to be a busy year for us. We're going to be doing I don't know if you've ever heard of the Pendle Witches.
No.
Shire. No. Pendle Witches. Basically, we done a 3-day special last week on so the three of them are on YouTube. Basically, what it is, there's been many witch trials in the UK, as everybody knows, Ireland, Scotland, everywhere. But the Pendle Witches took place back in 1612 in a place called Pendle Hill. And it was 12 people were accused of witchcraft, basically.
Yes.
I was just watching something about something in wasn't UK, but it was mainland, not Belarus, Bulgaria. But 6 people, 6 men, 6 women being burned at the stake for witchcraft.
Uh-huh.
It had something to do with vampires.
Okay. Uh-huh.
It was a Net Geo.
Oh, right.
Never heard of that one, but see, the Pendle Witches, it seems to be the most famous witchcraft story in the UK, over the years.
Oh, kind of like our Salem.
Well,
Yeah.
I was to that. What happened was, out of the Pendle Witches, the King Charles I wrote a book on the demon, how to find a witch and get rid of a witch and what have you. And the book was actually taken over to Salem and used in the Salem trials.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Salem witch trials and the Pendle witch trials are actually connected in a way.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Very
Because
cool.
They used a child witness, and it was the first child witness we used. And
Wow.
they adapted it.
So the Pendle Witches all started off with the testimony of a young girl and being accused of being a witch. So she accused members of her family and what have you, and ended up as 12 people accused. 10 were executed, 1 died before she could stand trial, and 1 was acquitted. But they were all innocent, basically.
Yeah.
But also they were executed, the bodies were burned, what have you. But it's a story. Every year, Pendle Hill and the surrounding area attracts thousands upon thousands of visitors.
It's like our Salem.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like a British version of Salem.
Because our Salem witches were innocent too.
Yeah, they were.
All because of a couple teenagers.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the other summer out. Unfortunately, back then, the accusation of witchcraft was basic. Was used for many things. It was used to, get rid of a land rival or a love rival or grudge against somebody.
Right.
Anything.
Sarah, one more time.
I said basically anything back then. You were just you could point your finger and say, "Oh, she's a witch," or "He's a witch."
Oh yeah,
that'd be you.
Right.
Well, see, because I have a lot of friends that are either Wiccan or white witches. And Wiccan, they don't want to be called a witch.
No.
Because actually there's some similarities between the two. Between a white witch and a Wiccan. It's all about nature. Basically, Wiccans are druids.
Yeah.
They're all about Mother Earth. People don't understand that. They're not turning into black cats and turning people into toads, and that's not how they live. And they live normal lives.
Yeah.
It's but unfortunately, with our society, it doesn't matter where you're at, in I should say civilized society, that either you're one religion or another religion, but you can't be another because it's got this stigma to it.
Right.
That makes no sense. We're supposed to have, as civilized, say that because we have to admit, there are some places on this great earth of ours that are not civilized, that are not with modern time. Yeah. So places like the UK and the United States, we're civilized societies. We're supposed to have freedoms of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of this, freedom of that. But depending, and I'm not going to start talking politics here because it's not really politics. It's about our freedom of our rights, our freedom. That if you're a Wiccan, you're all of a sudden you're a black witch. It's like what?
No. Yeah.
It's like, have you even done your research?
Yeah.
You're labelled, as soon as the word witch is, you're labelled, you must be, consorting with the devil and
and if you're a witch, you must be playing with the devil.
Right.
Yeah, basically that's it, the Pendle Witches, we done a 3-day special with a historian in with Danny Moss, who is the head investigator. They're on Amazon Prime, The Haunted Hunts UK. We had him in, and we had a medium in who spent her early years in Pendle. And at the end of, we had a preview special, we done a verdict saying, maybe 3 or 4 of them, they used herbs and various, things to help people. But we don't believe they were, hunting people or consorting with the devil or making cattle sick or, striking people down, kind of thing. But you're labelled with that brush,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, you even see this in the Christian religions. If you're not a certain type of Christian, then you're just not a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you guys study the same Bible?
Right.
The same book?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand, because I did go to a Christian college. It was very loosely Christian. We still drank and smoked.
Ooh,
But no, I had actually befriended the head religious guy on the campus. He had a position in the big office and blah blah blah. Because I asked him, "This is Doctor So and So. How many Bibles are out there?" He goes, "How many do you want?"
Whoa. Yeah.
Because after a certain amount of time, back in Germany, I can't remember the guy right now, off the top of my head, that there are literally more Bibles than we really know about, because every religion or every sect of Christianity writes their own dang Bible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not they're rewriting it. It's the fact that they're not changing necessarily the concept, but they're changing it to. It's like the NIV Bible. I have studied the Bible. I'm not a scholar. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. But there's a difference between a King James Bible and an NIV Bible, and a Baptist Bible, and I can keep on going and going and going. It's like you even look at the Jewish Bible, and you look at the Old Testament from a King James Bible. They're completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's the way people. Sorry, goes. It's the way people are persecuted for their own individual beliefs. As you say, freedom of speech, freedom of, your own beliefs. Well, it's the same as the Covenanters, for instance, with Edinburgh, way back when the king turned around and says, I want everybody to follow my religion. And then the Covenanter says, basically what they were saying were, we like you as a king, but we want to follow our religion. And so the king labelled this as treason, and they began a war, and roughly 1,200 Covenanters were basically taken to Edinburgh after the Battle of Bonnybrig, taken to Edinburgh, locked up in Greyfriars, and those that survived the elements were tortured and taken round to the toll booth in Edinburgh and strung up.
Right. Yeah.
That was it. And when he's come to Scotland, as I was saying last week, when we were mailing, we'll take you to Greyfriars.
And Canongate too.
And Canongate to the most haunted cemeteries in Edinburgh. But as it's basic persecution because you don't agree with the king or whoever's in charge at the time. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Well, it's even in the UK alone. You've got Protestants and you have Catholics.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't more cut and dry than you guys. Wars are fought in your country.
Right.
The Protestant religions stem from Henry VIII.
Yeah.
After the Pope's refusal to grant him a divorce, Henry basically said, well, I'm going to break away from the Catholic Church and I'll start my own church. Hence, we ended up with the Church of England. And Protestant actually does mean protesting Catholic.
Is that what it means?
That's what it means. Catholic Protestant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that new every day?
That was just because the Pope wouldn't grant a divorce.
Right.
Well,
that's why they call it the Church of England.
Yeah.
Yes.
Henry
it was created by good old Henry.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And the amount of wars and disputes that be fought over just, crossing the Catholic religions, whereas to me, we're all the same.
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you compare, it would be interesting to put a Protestant Bible, a Protestant UK Bible and a Catholic Bible from the same era. And see how different they are.
Yeah.
This would be interesting.
My father, God rest him, years and years ago, he had a friend who was very, he was totally against, Catholics, and
Right.
my dad says to him one day, he says, if you meet two guys in the street and they're both dressed exactly the same, he says, how can you tell if they're Protestant, Catholic, one of each? He says, how are you going to tell? He says, I can't tell. He says, well, there you go. There's your answer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like racism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A white guy and a black guy, if all you heard was hear them speak, and they're from the same area, we're going to make that little caveat. If they're the same area,
Yeah.
Northern California, you won't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
We bleed. We all bleed red. It don't matter.
Yes.
Don't put us up. We're the same.
There's enough going on in the world these days with the current situation, and there's no room for all this, hatred and everything.
No.
And even in the paranormal world, you get drama. I don't know what it's like in the US. You get drama.
I've dealt with. You get these teams break off. People leave a team because they're going to go form their own team because so and so said so and so below and so it's like, yeah, stop. Ugh.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. We're all doing the same damn thing. We're using the same damn equipment.
And in the UK, there's a lot of teams who, I'm not going to, no disrespect to a lot of people, I'm not going to name any, obviously, but they're just wanting the attention.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
That's basically what they're after. And we're not here for the attention. We're here to get that capture, or we're here to get that evidence to prove that there is something after. Obviously, we believe there is. But to get a wee bit of evidence, but at the same time, we're also here to help each other, maybe educate each other, people who aren't into the paranormal and are maybe interested in it, and there's no other drama in it, and just say earlier on goes, leave it at the door.
Right.
Send it back.
Oh.
Hello.
Hi, Kiko.
She just woke up.
Oh.
A lot of your guests seem to have cats.
A cat is a very common pet.
We've got two as well, actually.
This is not a cat. This is my child. Hey, I got three.
You get three? Oh, no, two.
We have got three, but one of them permanently lives outside because he's stubborn and just won't.
That's
come
what
in.
she wants. That's why she's in my office.
Yes.
She wants out.
Mhm.
Well, she ain't getting out until I'm done.
Our third one's like a teenager, kind of lives away from home,
See him once every other week to get a food and a bit of warmth, and that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, we've got two, but we need to walk them out when we're doing our lives because they get a wee bit boisterous at times, and they try to climb up and what have you, and it's just no good. It's just no good. You know what I mean? But I think we're going to wrap it up there for now, folks. Elizabeth and Ghost, if you could just hang on to you for a couple of minutes, if that's all right, just to stay on the pan after we come off. So I hope everybody's enjoyed tonight. We've certainly had a fantastic night. Thanks very much, Ghost and Elizabeth, for coming in.
Thank you.
Check out Evil Down the Street and the Crumbs on Amazon Prime. And has Demon Fighter been released yet?
No.
No, it's still in post.
No. That's how I can't find it.
You were told that when Craig and David
So
was
they were.
on.
So they were. But
Doesn't listen.
it's been a long day.
He's a man.
And that's sex.
It's true.
There's no room for sexist in the paranormal.
It's true.
Oh, you're right, but it happens.
Every day I have, especially in here. You know what I mean? So, thanks everybody for coming in. We'll be back tomorrow night. We're doing a haunted tasting special at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So take care, everybody, and stay safe. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.